Hello, my dear ones. It's been a lot longer than what I was hoping it would take us to return to recording. My prayer and my hope had been that after we are back from the pilgrimage in Moldavia, so sometime mid-September, we could restart. But it was just impossible. I'm in complete awe, and I have such great respect for people who can keep this up for months on end or years on end. It is beyond me. It is beyond me, and all my prayer and all my support are with these people who provide you all with advice and prayer without any sort of interruption. It's not who we are, and it's not who I am, definitely. I think it's quite clear by now that what will happen with us and these recordings is that we shall record for a few months, and then I shall disappear for a few months. Every time I shall disappear, I will tell you it's going to be for a week or a month, but actually I will go somewhere and dig a hole and bury myself in it and just wait there like in a womb until I'm re-nourished and reshaped by the grace of God. And then when I feel that I do have something to offer, I will come out of that hole and share what I have to share, and then once again run away and hide until by the grace of God I'm brought back to life. I'm apologetic because I'm aware that it would be so much easier and better if I could do this consistently, but at the same time I'm not entirely apologetic because it's very clear to me that this is all I can do, and that if I were to continue when I can't continue anymore, I would completely mess this up, and I would end up hating doing this to a degree that would then prohibit me from ever doing it again. So I think we just have to take what God has given us, which is for the few months when I feel I do have something to share, I will share it, and I will overshare it, and I will do it with love, and I will do it with the desire and the prayer that somehow out of these stupid words of mine, something good, some sort of spark might be lit in your hearts. And when I feel I'm completely dry and there's nothing, that I just need to barely survive, I will disappear. And when we disappear, I pray that you have enough love for us, that you continue to support the monastery, and also that you continue to pray for the monastery and for me personally, so that in God's time we could come back. All I wanted to do with this video is, oh yes, say Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Of course we are a bit late. It wouldn't be me if I weren't late. But I also wanted to give you a very short update of where we are. Practically speaking, since we spoke last time, so sometime in August, the community has been split in half, and our mothers are now living on Mull, on the island of Mull, and our brothers, the community of brothers, is now based on Iona, and this is a permanent setting. The two monasteries are not only formally in existence, but in practical terms as well. So mothers are at Kilninian, and they use Kilninian, the old church, and that is the oldest Christian site, I believe, everywhere in the Hebrides, because it's the only site that's connected to Saint Ninian, and Saint Ninian lived at the end of the 300s, beginning of the 400s. All the other holy sites are connected either to Saint Columba or Saint Brendan or their disciples, and they came here about 150 years after Saint Ninian. So mothers have this amazing blessing to be living their monastic life at the first Christian site in these western Scottish islands. And us, the brothers, we live on Iona permanently, on St. Columba's Island, or the Holy Island of Scotland, and the heart of Celtic Christianity. And it's working beautifully by the grace of God. We support each other in prayer. We support each other in practical terms as well. Whenever we have need for help with our guests, for instance, mothers or a few of them will travel and will help us take care of our guests. And whenever mothers have need for some sort of more physical, harder work outside, we travel to Kilninian and we help them. At the beginning of December, for instance, we received, I think, about 400-500 little trees. We are building this hedge around the property at Kilninian to guard a bit better against the winds. And for each of those 400-500 little trees, you had to dig a hole in order to plant it. And, there's a lot of physical work. So that's when brothers have moved to Kilninian for a few days, so we can actually help mothers deal with that. So it works beautifully, and it resembles very much what I'm used to seeing in terms of monastic life from Moldavia, where monasteries support each other, and monastics, male and female, travel from one monastery to the other, and they help each other in their work when they need the help. At Kilninian we finished the loft conversion, so that we created 3 new cells for our mothers and our sisters, and we installed the frame of the iconostasis, the icon screen, or whatever you call it in the West. We are now working at the actual icons that will be installed within the iconostasis, and maybe in the future I will show you some photographs or videos of how that work is progressing, if that's of any interest to anyone. And then on Iona, this is the first winter we can actually live on Iona, because we managed, by the grace of God and through your support and generosity, we managed to replace the heating system in the house. That was the main problem. That's why last winter, although we owned the house, we couldn't be on Iona. The heating system and the cooking and the hot water were all provided by an Aga stove. I'm not certain you all know what an Aga stove is. It's a specifically kind of middle class English system where a cast iron stove, I think it's a cast iron thing, it's one unit. It's extremely heavy and very, very expensive. That stove provides both the cooking facility and the heating and the hot water, and it's something that's always on. So in the background it runs constantly throughout winter and summer, all the time. If you need to cook, or if you need hot water, or if you need heating, that thing has to be always on. And it traditionally runs on anything from coal to wood to gas to oil to anything, but they are extremely wasteful and expensive to run. So we just couldn't afford to use them. But we managed to replace that. We now have a proper new boiler, and the boiler provides us with the hot water and the heating in the house. And then we have a new gas stove that provides us with the cooking facility. And we bring gas, because there's no system to be connected to. We bring gas in those tall, usually red bottles. I don't know what you call them, like big chunky metal bottles filled with gas. We also had to replace all the radiators in the house. They were very old and they were made to work with the previous system, so we had to take all the radiators, the old ones, out and purchase new ones and have them installed, and it was very expensive and a lot of work. But by the grace of God, that was done as well. So brothers are here through the winter. And what are we doing in the winter? We are doing our services every day by the grace of God. divine liturgy as often as possible. It's entirely on my shoulders, so if I'm feeling a bit ill or if I'm not here, we can't have a divine liturgy. But as long as I'm here and as long as I'm healthy, we have daily divine liturgies. And then our pottery adventure is actually progressing quite a lot. We've managed to purchase a larger kiln, and again, if this is of any interest to anyone, I will show you more of this. We have a new kiln, and we have a sedimentation sink and a wheel, and we are working and making cups. It will be impossible, because of how expensive it is, to actually send them to the United States. It will be impossible to sell them in 1 units. I think we did the math, and it will be about 18-20 pounds, so $25, just to send them over. So that's just not, practically doable. So I think what we'll do is we'll sell them in person to our pilgrims who come and visit us on Iona. And then if there are parishes, churches interested in purchasing them, we can send boxes of 30-40 cups together, and then maybe each parish can have an event where they sell them in order to support the monastery, because doing it that way reduces the cost per mug to, I don't know, 5-6 pounds instead of 20. So there's a lot of work going on, a lot of activity. By the grace of God, there's a lot of joy and cheerfulness, and my heart rejoices, and my heart is grateful to Christ for all the blessings He's bestowed upon us, although we don't deserve any of it. To all our pilgrims who come here and remind us that we are not alone, that there's more to the world than this little island of ours. We are an island on Iona, off an island, Mull, off basically another island, Scotland itself. So it's quite tempting to forget in the winter, in particular, when you're surrounded by storms and darkness. It's very tempting to forget that there is a world out there. So we are very grateful anytime someone takes the time and puts in the effort to fly over and spend some time with us. And of course, we are beyond grateful to all of you who, just by purchasing a prayer rope or a booklet or anything, making a donation, no matter how small it is, you are keeping us alive here. You are making our monastic lives possible here. And for that we keep you in our prayer and in our gratitude. It's not that you have helped found 2 monasteries in the Hebrides. It's not only that you found the monasteries and that you keep them going and functioning. You are the founders of our lives, our monastic lives, because I could not be the monk that I am, I could not be the priest that I am here in these ancient holy sites of Celtic Scotland, without your support. It simply would not be possible. I could be my monastic self, and I could live my monastic and priestly life somewhere in Moldavia or somewhere in Greece, somewhere where there's a system, an infrastructure. But here there's nothing. It's just us. There's no network of support like in these traditionally Orthodox countries. Here it's just us, and we are entirely dependent on you. I suppose that's all I wanted to say in this first video. Thank you for sticking, is that an expression, sticking up with us, or thank you for being with us still. Thank you for supporting us still. Thank you for praying for us still. I and we have never stopped praying, but from time to time I do need to go back, dig my hole, bury myself in that spiritual ground, and remind myself who I am and get in touch again with the truth of my own being. Because if I lose sight of that, I will then no longer be useful to anyone, including you, including myself, including the community. It's strange to say this into a phone, into a camera, but it's not about the camera, it's about what I have in my heart. I missed you. I missed you, and with a huge degree of fear, I will say this: I am very, very glad that we started doing this again. Keep us in your prayers, keep us in your support, and may God bless you beyond any hope, my dear ones. Amen. Amen. Amen.